Everybody, what's going on? I am Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary, revolutionary intuitive astrologer, and I am bringing you some updates because we have a pretty big week ahead. Today happens to be Monday, November 3rd of 2025, and I have been out of office serving in my role as staff director for Nine Gates Mystery School over the last 2 weeks, so I'm back. And I have a fun story to share with you, but I want to put some pins on the map. This video might be a little lengthy just because there's so much going on, or I may decide to break it up into other short videos. But either way, thanks for watching, tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. It would be great to have more people on this channel and listening to these videos, watching them if it's beneficial to you. We're going to start with the big news so far at the beginning of the week, and that is we have a full moon in Taurus. Now, the day before that, so the full moon happens on Wednesday, the 5th. So the day before that, we have Mars ingressing into the sign of Sagittarius, where it will be for the next few weeks. And then we also have Mercury retrograding on the 9th and Venus moving into Scorpio on the 7th. So there's quite a bit of planetary movement. There's some retrograding planets that are happening. There's also a water trine happening between Jupiter and Neptune and Saturn, because Neptune and Saturn are in Pisces right now. And so it's making a natural trine to Jupiter. And that's all going to be the Saturn Jupiter trine is going to be happening on the full moon. So I am going to talk a little bit about that, but let me tell you a fun story. So when I'm gone for Nine Gates Mystery School, we're on site and there's all kinds of incredible, powerful practices and embodiment and teachings and work that's happening. And it's super important that I'm there. And one of the things that we train in is how to die, that we die as good of a death as we live in this life, if not better. And so training to die a good death also means that we ask ourselves, not only how do I want to live, but how do I want to die? That when my consciousness leaves my body, what is the vibration that I want my consciousness to leave on so that it can contribute to the greater good? And so we look at, is my mind agitated? Is my heart full of remorse? Is my body tense? And I really sat with that teaching for quite some time over the last few months, because many of you may know that my beloved's birthday happens to be Halloween. And that's a very big deal in our lives. And since he and I have been together, I haven't missed a single birthday. Well, this particular school was falling during that time. And I sat there really struggling, over the last few months, knowing that this was coming and going and thinking and feeling how much regret I would have if I missed his birthday, if I wasn't there to share it with him and to do some of the traditional things that we've done over the last several years. And so I reached out to the executive director and I said, here's my dilemma. And I really feel like I would just have so much regret and remorse, and my mind would be agitated. I couldn't be fully present at the school and all these things. And so she was so gracious and she said, absolutely, go. If you need to go, go. And so I was able to get another staff member to step in and take over for me the last couple of days that I was at Nine Gates. And so I left on very, 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 very late on Thursday and arrived at home and then Ubered to his place on Friday morning. And I surprised him. He had no idea I was showing up. And it was hysterical. Just his face was priceless, and just the whole way that it all came about. And I will say that it really reminded me of how we need to, one, advocate for what we need. And also that self-awareness is a crucial key for us to have joy, to have happiness, to be able to make choices from a place that doesn't have regret, that being intentional. And we have to know ourselves. What do we need? What do we want? What's most important for us, and then to be able to advocate for that. And so that was a big growth point, because some of you may have heard, maybe not, but finding my voice. I was raised in a home that just didn't really encourage to be seen or heard as a child, and don't question authority or don't question things. So it was really hard for me to speak up when I was younger. And so, and I still struggle even in my 50s now. I still have those moments. So this was a beautiful opportunity for me to honor that, to grow. And I just wanted to share that for anybody out there who may be struggling with something similar, or wanting to celebrate something that they can really honor themselves with things like this. So I just share all that with you because, one, it just made me very happy. It was one of the happiest things I could have done over the last several months for myself. So and it was a wonderful celebration weekend, that sort of thing. Now I'm back in my office. You can see my background. Some of you may know that I am now, I have my own office space in Reno. My daughter and I are sharing an office space here, and we actually have an open house scheduled in about 2 weeks. So I'm very excited about that. So if you're in the Reno area and you want to stop by and say hello, it'd be great to have you. Reach out to me, private message me, and I'll let you know the details. But let's start in this video. I think I'm going to break it up just so I don't overwhelm you with all kinds of information. Let's start with the full moon in Taurus, because that is the big theme. We're feeling the energy as it builds. Often I will share this, and I know you can feel it as well. But when we have a full moon, it's a place of releasing. Every month, the energy, just like the moon becoming full, as it stands across the sky from the sun, it's gathering all this energy to be released. And so because we're made of nature too, we're feeling all of this incredible, maybe it's not so comfortable energy that needs to be released. And each moon, each full moon, new moon has a particular theme. And the way that it is determined what the theme is based on the sign that the moon is in. So if the moon were in the sign of Scorpio, it'd be a Scorpio full or new moon. But the sun is in Scorpio, and the moon now is standing across the opposite side in the sign of Taurus. So we have a Taurus full moon. And this is a moon that invites us to connect the earth with the earthly elements. It's an earth sign. We want to connect to our senses, our physicalness, our material realities, our six senses, not just the five, but our physicalness is really heightened. And we're looking for themes around stability, security, abundance, self-worth with that moon energy. Excuse me. With the sun in Scorpio, it adds this layer of intensity, this deep penetrating, let's go where angels dare to tread kind of feeling, to get to the bottom, to get to the unknown. This is a time where the hidden often gets revealed. What do we as human beings fear the most? The unknown. Once we understand it, once we see it, then we feel more comfortable because we feel like we have some sense of, air quote, control, right? So that's the theme, the undercurrent that is lacing or coloring this particular full moon. So if we're feeling uncomfortable, if we're feeling out of control, if we feel like we're being asked to deal with something that we don't know about, or we're put in a situation where we don't have an answer for, it's going to trigger quite a bit of this unease, this feeling of maybe our nervous system is shot, maybe our emotions are all over the place. Because that's the other thing, the Scorpio energy, the emotions can be very extreme. So we're looking at that as well, that if this shows up, now we start questioning, why am I feeling this way? Who could be part of this or triggering this for me? What could be triggering this? Now, when we look at it from a themed standpoint with Taurus, right, we're looking at sensory pleasures and comfort. So if we're uncomfortable, we're looking for ways to release that discomfort and find comfort. And we need that through answers. We need it through resources. We need it through money. We need, all those things. We're looking at our material security and abundance. So if you're triggered because you're looking around saying, I don't have XYZ to pay the bill, or I don't have this particular, maybe a car, or um, something happened transportation wise that I can't get from point A to point B, that's a trigger, right, of some sense of security. There's also that feeling of self-worth or values that come in alignment with the Taurus energy. And so our personal values get illuminated, and that does contribute to our self-worth. So this is a time to really reflect on what truly matters to us. Are there external pressures, expectations, things that may be undermining our inner self-worth, our inner values? Maybe we're compromising our values, and it's time to get them back. You want to know where somebody spends their time, money, energy? Look at, that's what they value. You want to know what they value? It's looking at that. My story, my experience is a perfect example. I valued my relationship and being with my beloved on his birthday more than I did staying in my role as staff director. And so I reprioritized some things because that felt more of my authentic self. Honor that. These are the things we're looking at. Now, I will say that secrets often get revealed during a full moon, in particular, this particular full moon, because of the energy of Scorpio Taurus. So if you are feeling like there's some things that aren't being shared or said by somebody you're in relationship with, or maybe you need to uncover some things, this is a great time for investigation. Also, I will say that there could be random pieces of information that show up that trigger this revelation, if you will, for you, that says, oh, I didn't know that about this individual or the situation. Now I need to question, do I stay in it? Do I go? So there is some of that in there. Now, the thing that we can do, though, is really create a sacred space, be mindful with the way in which we do things with our physicalness, whether it's the food we eat, the way we move our bodies. If we aren't connecting in nature and we need to do more of that, go do that, especially if you're feeling really wobbly. This isn't about getting rid of anything. It's about transforming it. This is a transformative time. Use gratitude as a regular practice right now as well. That also helps the mindset to be able to move into a place where we can see the manifestations that we've already accomplished and get that feeling of hope and belief back in us that we can actually manifest that next thing for ourselves as well. The other theme that I would say, or the thing that we can do during this full moon, because of it being an earth full moon, is to do something with nature. So take your intentions that you set, maybe you wrote them down at the Libra new moon 2 weeks ago, take them and bury the things that you want to release, maybe from those intentions, or maybe there's some other things in your life that you're just saying, I'm attached to this, or I have too many fears or limiting beliefs. This is what's holding me back from experiencing abundance and security. Bury that in the earth. Do a ritual. You could write it on a seed, speak it, pray, kind of use your words, because our words create worlds, right? You could speak it into the seed, bury it, let the plant bloom, and it's transformed from the seed to the plant. That's just some ideas that, again, what does ritual do? It calls us into sacredness. It takes our attention and it puts us fully into what is in front of us in that moment. And we know that where attention goes, energy flows. So give yourself permission to take on a ritual like that and enjoy it. And just notice how you feel. I love calling it the Disneyland experience, where notice how you are before you enter the ritual. Notice how you are during the ritual, and then afterwards. What's your energy like? One of the other things I will offer with this particular full moon, as I mentioned, is that with Jupiter trine Saturn, Jupiter in Cancer trining Saturn in Pisces, this is going to increase or expand, because of Jupiter involved, our emotions. But with Saturn there, they can be tempered with some imagination, some practicality, and also some things that maybe we need that hope and inspiration. This could be a very healing full moon for us if we're willing to put the work in, to be intentional, to honor ourselves, to come back and revisit our values and say, have I compromised them? Or what do I truly value? How do I honor that even more as I move forward throughout my day? Or the days ahead. Because, this Jupiter trine Saturn energy also gives us this feeling of um, faith, hope, belief that I can expand and do all kinds of wonderful things. And I get this kind of, I need to have more security in my life. And then Saturn in Pisces says, well, dream big, but put it into practical terms or into concrete terms that you can actually manifest it. So that's what we're going to be working with. And I do hope that this particular full moon in Taurus will prove to you that the universe has your back, that you are loved, and that there's so much to be grateful for in these days and the weeks ahead. I do know that we have, by the time the full moon will have happened, we will have had midterm elections here in the US. That also adds another layer of intensity around emotions and things being expanded because people have their opinions and they have their way of doing things. And so I do know that that can be a trigger point. So be gentle on yourself if you were leading up to this full moon or even after the full moon. If that intensity has just been so much on you, give yourself some permission to take a break, escape for a little bit, take a nap, go for a walk, whatever it might be, so that you can just be for just a little bit to integrate whatever may show up for this particular full moon. All right, you guys, I really hope this helps. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Come find me at jamiedawn.com and when to listen. And I look forward to connecting with you. Have a great full moon, everyone.